call one of them the blank slate.
One slate.
So you can just erase functional group.
Which the god cards are a subset of.
No, it's a whole different pile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not instants.
So
Yeah.
there are three main categories we have. Now.
Yeah.
We have god cards, we have effect cards,
And
and we have instant cards. So right now we're focusing on god cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
They erase functional groups. So let's say someone has like an OH and you're like, I want to get rid of that OH. You just erase it, right?
One group or
Ooh, that's a good point. I think it would count too OP to completely destroy the whole board. That's like pretty.
no? Yeah, that'd be.
That's broken.
Yeah.
I think having just one functional group is fine.
Okay.
Should there be one where you add a functional group that you want? Like, let's say there's a methyl and you just want to
You want to like
you
replace it?
add a carbonyl to a methyl.
Oh.
Just like I add a carbonyl.
Wait, so you're saying you take out the functional group and then you add your own in the same turn? Because that's what the point of the god card is, right? You're trying to favor yourself, so if you're erasing the functional group, you want to do something with that, right? Or else
Okay,
someone else could take
So
that.
it would both erase the functional group and add.
That's what I would.
Okay.
But then you need to have
Okay.
both of those cards in your hand.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you
this
wanna
is-
erase it, but then if whatever you want to add has to come from your hand.
Okay.
Like
Okay, so like you have like a carbonyl in your hand.
if you want to remove a carbonyl and add a bromine, you need to have the bromine in your hand.
Okay, so it draws from your hand.
So
Okay.
then
Yeah.
we can't call it blank slate then.
Let's call it
Well, what did you guys mean by blank slate?
like
It's just the only function was just erase.
erase.
Just erase it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
then
we
we can
can
keep
keep-
the blank slate, right? Because we're erasing
like-
the
like
functional group.
Well,
and
we
then-
should like at least add another name to signify you're adding another group too.
Let's just call it erase. But
Erase.
for now, we can give it a
Erase
fancy-
and construct.
We can just like call it something else later.
Okay. Erase and construct.
Or how about this? It's a card where the definite effect is erase functional group, and it's one of those cards that if you have a card you'd like to play yourself, you can put it on there. You don't have to.
cool. Yeah.
So
So
you
how
can,
about,
you can also just fuck someone over by getting rid of it.
do you guys play Uno?
Yeah.
You know how with the wild you have wild, which means you can change it to any color, and then wild plus draw 4,
Mm-hmm.
which is like wild and then the effect. So we can do something like that with the god card where it's just erase
Mm-hmm.
or erase and construct.
Like two separate cards?
Yeah, like we can have like two separate cards. One of them's just erase, which I mean I guess is kind of pointless, but it can still help
Yeah,
with
because
defensiveness.
like another player could just utilize that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but there could also be like an erase and construct, kind of like the wild and wild plus draw 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can we also have a construct card?
That could be true.
Or
Yeah.
if you have like a blank alkyl group? just
Yeah, you can
one
make
or two.
whatever you want.
Yeah, you
Make
just add a
whatever-
bromine.
Yeah,
If you don't have like a proper.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so just construct as well. Okay, cool. So these are the three organic chemistry god cards.
So 3 types now.
Yeah, this is cool. I like it. And the most OP one was obviously going to be the erase and construct.
Yeah.
But does whatever you construct need to come from your hand?
Yeah. And you need to have a free place to do it. But then wait. Can't you just play it if you already had a free place to
No,
do
I
it?
think erasing construct should be you can just add. How
Because
this-
construct
how about
doesn't
this?
work at all. Because
Yeah, I
what would
think
that
we
mean?
should
Like
keep it
you're,
at 2.
if you already had a free carbon backbone, right? You can easily just add a bromine to it. You don't need a construct card to do it. Like especially if, the only power of the construct card would be if you wanted to take any de novo functional group out of the deck and add that
Yeah,
without it being in your hand.
no, anything you want. That's what.
From where though? From your, but it's like from out of your hand.
No, because there'll be separate reagent cards that we'll draw and play, and then separate cards that we have that we put on the board, right? That's
Yeah.
my conception. Is that
Yeah,
we'll-
yeah.
So you can take any of the board tile cards, or whatever you want to call them,
And take it off.
and put it on.
Take it off someplace and put it somewhere else.
No, from the pile. It'll be like a box with like a bunch of little pieces, right?
So you're saying
Like this is a board game, right? So we'll have
Yeah.
we'll have cards we play as players, but we'll also have like little physical things, the pieces for the actual game board, right?
Okay.
And on the game board, those pieces will be molecules.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say we play the construct card, we want to put an OH on an alkyl group. We just take one of the hydroxyl pieces and put it on.
Okay.
okay.
Is that's what I was thinking about.
I think that's fine. I think we'll just need to note that that feature is going to be more reliant on the
Yeah,
logistics.
I was thinking that there's a distinction between the cards we play, because the cards we play say like, hey,
yeah.
I want to add an HBr to an OH, that means it's going to turn into a BR.
Mm.
But the actual OH and BR are
Oh,
not
there will be
cards we play.
separate-
There'll be
yeah.
several tiles.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Scrabble pieces, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So construct,
So without doing any mechanism, just
yeah,
just
add
I see what you're saying.
So this erases any functional group, right? It turns it back into
just
carbon.
straight alcohol, yeah.
And this erases add functional group of choice. Do you still want erasing constructors? That's too.
Yeah, yeah,
This
definitely.
is
We'll
really
just
good.
make fewer numbers of them.
Well, I mean, that's why it's called a god card because it's supposed to be.
They'll be very
different,
rare.
so, I mean,
This is dope. I like it.
Erase plus construct. In same turn. In same turn. But it must be same carbon.
Yeah.
Like you can't just erase here and construct there. That
Yeah,
would-
yeah, it has to be the same carbon.
Yeah.
yeah.
But. Cool. So these are some god cards. Alright, so we did, last time we talked about the instance we want to have of quick plays, whatever you want to call it. Now we have some god cards laid out.
Okay.
Are there any of the special cards, like effect cards maybe? Or did we already talk about them last time?
Just effect cards just says rewards you for some things.
Oh yeah, so we don't actually talk about
Points.
flesh out the effect cards because we don't know if we want to scrap these or keep these.
Yeah.
So I want to think of
Yeah, why don't you go over effect cards?
Yeah.
yeah, so effect cards aren't like
So these are all outside of the actual game cards, right?
Yeah.
Effect cards, god cards, and instant cards are going to be present as like a chance, so
Yeah.
to speak,
Yeah.
of our game.
well
So like
yeah.
the chance in the community chest.
Yeah.
Well there'll be a deck we all draw from.
That's the deck we draw from. But
Yeah.
these are all like chance and community
You know,
chest
like
cards.
just extra.
Wait, these aren't in the normal hand.
Oh, you mean like in the norm?
Yeah, so my idea is that there'll be a standard deck, and we all draw from the deck. The deck can have molecule cards. The deck can have effect cards.
Oh,
can
I
have
see.
god cards.
Yeah, I think I can agree with
Yeah,
that.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably.
And that deck is distinct from the actual, I don't know a word for it, but tiles we actually put on the board.
Uh-huh.
Like if we actually want to create bonds or like put new groups on the board,
I see.
we play
Oh
cards.
well, you play the card to do the reaction, and then the end product is like a tile.
Yeah,
you
we
put
add a
in.
tile.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
It's
what you're
really, really spatially very difficult to have physical cards that are like normal
saying. Oh, that's
size.
genius.
on a
I think
game
that's
board, right?
smart.
It's
I
really
think
hard.
that's smart.
So the tiles you're talking about, that's add the functional group of choice, right?
Well, so characters we play cards during turns, but when we want to reflect a change on the molecule on the game board,
That's
going to
be done by
game board.
tiles.
They'll be done by tiles. It's not like in like Monopoly, you have Monopoly money, but you actually have like tiles and you move your characters around the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm creating a division between cards we play to actually do things in the game, but we reflect those things we do by game pieces. that
Wait,
can
yeah,
be
like
tiles and stuff.
hold this really quick. I think I understand. So like, what's gonna essentially happen is like, let's say on the game board, this is a two-dimensional board and it has this hydroxyl, which is a tile. So this is a tile.
Yeah.
And then what I do is if I have a card like HBR, right? So if I'm in my hand, I have like an HBR card.
Yeah.
I play this, and then what I can do is remove this tile, like
And put a
three
bromine.
Put a
dimensional
bromine
object,
on it. Oh,
and,
okay.
and then just put a bromine tile. So
Exactly.
we just need to construct the tiles such that we elucidate every possible thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But there aren't that many.
Question.
And then, like, let's say if I can convert this into a carbonyl
Uh-huh.
with PCC, then what would happen is I can just take this off and put this on as a thing,
Alright.
which is actually way better than
Yeah, no, it's
Um,
better to have tiles than like.
better to have
so
tiles.
That
than-
means are we gonna take into account of chirality too? Like
That's
what
the
to
other-
have?
other-
Oh fuck! What do you think?
Because I mean, like we already wrote notes about like chirality, so.
Well, that's the thing. That's why we took the notes. So even if we don't take it into account,
Mhm.
we can at least say we know that this is supposed to happen,
Mhm.
and the constraints of the game either don't or do allow. We haven't discussed it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at least for now, let's think about the game board in terms of this: a big ass deck that has actual mechanism cards like HBR or PCC that do actual reactions. The second cards will be these god cards that can do these specific things. The third type will be the instant cards, which we haven't really gone into at least yet, and the last card will be the effect.
No, we went into instance last time.
I know, but not yet today.
Oh yeah,
And the last one will be effect cards,
yeah.
which we also talked about before, but haven't gone into today.
Yeah.
And that will be in one deck, and it's up to you to know how to utilize them. But the actual reactions will be done by the PC.
Yeah, like, you want to modify the game board, you just have like little like Scrabble. I'm imagining
Yeah,
like,
me too.
cubes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Scrabble pieces. Okay, that's great. I agree with that.
Alright, cool. What do y'all think? Is that?
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
that's
I
really
like it.
smart.
I like it.
I think that's going to be a huge step forward. I
Yeah.
think that's
Alright.
going to help dichotomize the reactions from the actual game board.
Yeah. But remember, as players, we can only play these cards, and they may enable us to actually move tiles
Yeah.
onto the actual board itself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these are god cards. Okay, so one question. Initially, I had envisioned two separate categories of molecule cards and special cards. And under special cards, there are these three classes: gods, effect, and instant.
Yeah.
Do you want to still keep that division, or do you want to just have four separate kinds and no?
Well, we can still keep that division in terms
Okay.
of organization of the game, but it's not like that affects how we
Yeah,
make
it
the
doesn't
cards.
affect the mechanics of the game, just how we conceive of explaining the game to others.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some effect cards. We can scrap this, but I was thinking it might be nice to have some like.
Can you draw a line in between the god cards and effect cards so
Yeah.
we know?
Effect cards.
Why don't you also center the effect cards to the left more so you have more room?
Like-
Actually, that's fine. Whatever.
It's okay.
All right. So since I play a lot of competitive Pokemon, they're like effects you can have in the actual like game. So you can like have spikes that affect and every time a Pokemon comes in. So I'm thinking we can have like things that change the nature of the game, or what reactions we can do, like whether we can get points or things. So I was thinking of things like maybe having like a cute little name could be like total acid hydrolysis, where you turn the whole game board into acidic conditions for a whole set of turns.
So
you
a
can
whole
only do
round?
acid- Yeah, so you can only,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a field card
Yeah,
in
field-
Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah, field. Sorry, that's a great way to say it. Field card.
Yeah, so we change it like only basic reactions
Yeah,
for the
only
next
acid.
round of.
Or yeah, so that's one example of an effect card. I don't know if it'll be only field cards, but that's one thing I was thinking about. So we can
Okay.
have like field change.
Like acidic versus basic conditions, basically.
Only acidic reactions. Or only basic reactions. And like I'm thinking we can have cute names like total acid hydrolysis for like that, because like it's kind of I want to have like kind of somewhat cute, like, you know, catchy names that are fun for like these things. So yeah, only basic reactions, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's one maybe idea we could have for an effect sort of card.
Okay.
That's a field change. I was thinking, I think it could be that it might be a little hard to implement because it might require too high of knowledge, but things that affect maybe temperature. So like you can only form like thermodynamic products versus kinetic products, or like things like that. That may be very hard to do because, especially because the audience also might be high school students
Yeah, I don't know if
who
we
are
can.
interested in
That's
science.
a little, high school students.
When we talked about last time how this game will not only appeal to people who are like, let's say, in Chem 3A, but also high schoolers who are into science and they want to like get inspired and learn more about science.
I honestly think they should have to first take the course.
But like like a student takes AP Chem and they really liked it, they won't know everything, but they probably enjoy this kind of game because they get to learn about reactions and molecules, right?
It's true.
Like all this game really requires is a knowledge of Lewis structures, and like you
And not reactions.
and bond. Well,
But I mean,
like, if
our
you
instructional
read-
manual
like,
will cover.
after doing AP Chem, they're usually decent at teaching you bond line notation and like that stuff. So like you gotta like, read this maybe.
Yeah.
So then after that point, this would be a way they can get introduced to OChem and the idea of reactions. And,
So
like,
what about chirality though?
we might have
you want to
to-
have the discussion right now?
We'll might go forego that. No, let's talk about effect
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah, let's just.
So yeah,
forget
another thing I was
this.
thinking about was maybe like have cards where you basically make it hot or cold for a whole round.
Yeah.
And how that affects reactions. What do y'all think?
I mean, like how
I feel
would
like
it?
you're adding too many factors.
That's a little.
Yeah, so like where do we draw the line in terms of complexity?
I think that's
How about
where
just
we
like
go.
This is
You
like
have, like,
pretty
a
complex
20,
itself.
how about you
Acidic or
have like a
basic.
0 degree Celsius card and then like a 100 degree Celsius card. That's
So things. So we have. Oh yeah. So for some of the instant cards, we have inhibitor cards. We have light inhibitors, heat inhibitors.
Yeah.
That are intentionally. So like we already.
But that's
introduced
like
before-
more intuitive because some reactions explicitly will say this requires light. Like the card will say it, so
Yeah.
that the person doesn't
That's
necessarily.
true.
Also, one quick question: like, even if you do change the temperature, whatever molecule's on the board, how can you assume that that's going to be a molecule that can survive in those kind of temperatures?
Well, yeah, but
wouldn't
the
you
thing is-
change the
and-
entire game
But things
that
even,
way?
even with this is also like in
Yeah, so
reality,
that's what
like,
I'm saying. Like, are you saying it's only changing the reactions,
Reactions.
whatever you add
Yes,
that
it's only changing
compound,
things you
or
add.
will it change the entire